Echo.
Whew. Hey guys. Okay. I've been trying this new mask to protect myself against coronavirus. So I don't know how well it's working, but I don't have it yet. So maybe it's working pretty good. We're gonna give it a few more minutes to let people get in here. One thing I do want to talk to you about today, I am recording our conversations with my cell phone, and I'm gonna post that on Google Classroom because there's a few people who can't log in. There's already 19 of you, so that's good. Hey, make sure guys you mute your microphones because I can hear some TVs in the back. So let's mute those microphones. Can y'all hear me now? Thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me re-say everything I just said because apparently my microphone was off. Thank you, Miss Hickman, for telling me, or whoever that was told me that.
Coach Robert, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, sir.
Okay, if you can hear me, thumbs up. Okay, almost everybody else can hear me. Maybe, hey, Brandon, try to put some headphones in or something. Well, if you can't hear me, you can't hear me say that. Let's see. Let's do this. Brandon, can you hear me now? Okay. Kellen, you can unmute your microphone. Why can't he access the meeting? Do you know? Kellen Garcia, unmute your microphone. No? Okay. Okay. Okay, so what I was saying earlier, my mask. I was wearing that mask because I'm trying to try a different mask to fight against coronavirus. So I don't know if that one works very well or not, but I don't have it, so that's good. I see you, Aiden. There you go. Okay. Let's give it a few more minutes so that people can join in. While we wait on them, I want you to know that I am recording this chat off my cell phone, and I'm going to upload it to Google Classroom later on. That way, people who can't log in will have access, and they can at least hear what we say. Okay. A few other things. I want to make sure that when you turn your stuff in, like yesterday, several of you did the roll call, but you didn't go and hit turn in, and so that makes it very difficult. So to make sure that I get your grade in for you, make sure that you hit turn in on all assignments, okay? It's very, very important. So, once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Make sure after every assignment, you hit turn in. Another thing is, let's try to, if you can get logged in, make sure you're on time because we want to start right at 10 o'clock. As we get into our lessons and as we get into deeper topics, there will be a lot of questions probably and conversations. And so I don't want to rob you of any time because 8th grade comes in at 10:30, so we don't have a huge window. I am providing class notes. Okay, so those class notes are supplemental. Here's what that means. You can't get everything you need just from this video lecture, and you can't get everything you need just from those notes. You really need to tune in for both. The notes are more detailed, but there will be questions that people ask in this class that you'll need to hear that, and you'll need to know the response to those questions. So if we log in, let's make sure that we're on time, and also make sure you read your notes. Third thing, the assignment we have today is a Newsela, and it goes along with our class lecture we're about to have. Make sure you do the Newsela. Okay. All right. Looks like it's 10:06, so let's go ahead and get started. So today we are diving into the world of viruses, and as you very well know, because of a virus, our whole world has changed. The reason we're doing this right here is because of a virus. There's been lots of misinformation. I've seen some stuff on Facebook, and I've even heard stuff on TV that's just flat out wrong about what a virus, the function of a virus. And so I think it's important that we understand what a virus is. When you start thinking about viruses, there's a bit of a philosophical question that pops up. And we're going to kind of discuss this real fast. So in a minute after I ask this question, I want you to put your answers in the chat box here. What do you think are the requirements for an organism to be considered living? So go ahead and give me some answers there. What does it require for an organism to be considered a living? I wish I had the Jeopardy music. I might do something about that. What do you guys think? Okay. It has to breathe, to have life, okay? It has to be able to reproduce and multiply, all right? All right, Zoe, so I said, what are the requirements for an organism to be considered living? It has to be moving, it has to multiply, okay? It has to add to be healthy, multiply, it has to breathe and multiply. It has to have air and surface for it to live on. It has to be synthetic and either grown or like an animal or human, all right? It has to have lungs and breathe and a heart for blood flow, okay? It needs to, I think that means reproduce, multiply, and live. It has to be able to multiply, and breathe. To be able to move and breathe in a natural environment, breathe, okay? All those are great. I'm loving your answers. Fantastic. And that's why when we talk about viruses, it's so odd because a virus is much different. A virus does not breathe. A virus does not eat. A virus cannot reproduce on its own. And so therefore, pretty much, with every consideration that you might have for what makes an organism living, you would say that a virus is not living. So, what is a virus? Basically, all a virus is a capsule, okay? A capsule made of protein, and inside of that capsule is genetic information. So this is very unique. A virus has its very own. It can sometimes it's DNA and sometimes it's RNA. All right. Who can remember? Because we did genetics not long ago. Who can remember what DNA stands for, and who can remember what RNA stands for? Does anybody remember? Okay, DNA is like what? I don't remember. Okay. Okay. Who can remember what DNA is and what RNA is? It's been a while. It's okay. It is what you're made of. It's in every cell. Good job. DNA, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, is deoxyribonucleic acid. And RNA is just ribonucleic acid. So, if you remember, a DNA is like a double helix, okay? That's where the di means two. So DNA is like a double helix. If I was going to draw it, it would look something. Can everybody see this? Okay, it would look. Can y'all see that? Okay, something like that. The double helix, right? There's two of those. Well, ribonucleic acid would just be one. Okay, it's not the double helix. It's just a single strand, like a half of a ladder, right? Well, a virus can have either that. It can have double DNA. It can have double RNA. It can have single DNA or single RNA. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of viruses on this planet. As a matter of fact, scientists predict, they don't really know, that the number is 10 to the 31 power. So that would be 10 with 31 zeros behind it. That's how many different types of viruses they think are on the planet. So I'm watching your little good job. I think y'all can help each other out while I talk. It's awesome. And so viruses don't grow. They don't metabolize. Anybody know what metabolize means? Somebody give it a guess. What do you think metabolize mean? Try it. You metabolize things. Grow? Close. That's part of your metabolism, but not quite the answer. Okay. Kason and Kellen, very good. It means to eat food, and in that process, you do burn that food in your body through a chemical process. So yes, breaks down food, very good. Viruses don't metabolize things. The viruses don't grow, and it can't reproduce on its own. But, there's a big but, when it comes in contact with another cell, crazy stuff starts to happen. Okay? Much different than anything else on our planet that we know. When a virus comes in contact with another cell, it basically acts like a pirate and takes over that cell. Okay? If you've ever watched Pirates of the Caribbean or another pirate movie, you may hear them talk about commandeering a ship. Well, when this virus comes in contact with a cell, it commandeers the cell. And I think in your notes, it shows you the size difference between a virus and eukaryotic cell, which is like the cells that you have in your body. A virus is so tiny compared to a cell. That's why they're hard to stop. You can't screen them out. You can't use a filter. They're very, very difficult to control. But when that virus, his job is to get inside the cell. Now, there's a lot of different ways that he does it. A cell has a protective system that keeps things that aren't supposed to be there out. Okay? But a cell also needs stuff to help grow and do its function and be what it needs to do what it needs to do to be a cell. But these viruses have protein receptors on them. Ironically, a cell has a protein receptor on it, and so if it matches up, the cell will let the virus in. And so viruses change over time, and their protein receptors change. And so it's kind of like just trial and error. If it grows a protein receptor that works with the cell, then it can enter that cell. Okay, that's called a Trojan horse approach. Okay, Trojan horse is a metaphor that was used when the war of Troy. The Trojan people, they built this huge horse and they acted like it was a gift for this city they were trying to conquer. They hid soldiers in it. The city brought the horse inside, and at night the Trojan warriors came out and they killed everybody in the city. So that's what a Trojan horse means. Also, another way that they get into the cell is sometimes they land on the cell, especially if the cell has a hard membrane, and they will use a needle-like apparatus, and they inject their DNA into the cell. Okay? So the goal of the virus is to get its DNA into that cell. All right? Now here's where crazy things start to take place. If you remember our unit on genetics, your mitochondria reads your ribosome reads the DNA, and it builds proteins to make new parts of the cell or to even let the cell divide. When that virus gets in there, though, the virus hijacks that and it makes new viruses. Okay? It makes the DNA for that virus. And so you've got a virus that has injected that cell. It's came into the nucleus. It's using the ribosome to make new copies of the virus. And then there's one or two things happens. Sometimes the virus makes that cell create things that kills the cell. So it basically forces the cell to commit suicide. And then when it dies, all the viruses leave that cell and go to a new cells. Okay? Another thing that it might do, and this might be even creepier, that virus it's called budding. Okay, so like right now, if you have a window and you can look at a tree, the tree has buds on it, right? They're little bitty growths that will be a leaf. Well, these viruses press against the cell membrane, press against the cell wall, and they bud off. They push out. The crazy thing about that is they take a piece of that cell's membrane. So let's say that I have a cold, and the viruses are attacking. Let's say the virus is attacking the cells on the inner part of my nose. As they bud out, now it takes a piece of that cell membrane and it wraps it around itself. The body thinks that virus is a nose cell. That's dangerous because now it can contact any cell, and that's how we get sick. Okay, the viruses attack the cells, and there it goes. Okay, yeah, like a pirate. Okay, a few other things. There are things called retroviruses. That's right, retroviruses. So HIV is a form of retrovirus. There are many more, but the one we're probably most familiar with is HIV. It's very, very devastating. A retrovirus, when it gets in there, it actually takes its DNA and it adds it to the DNA in that cell. And for some things, it's not that big of a deal, because if you change the DNA of a skin cell, I mean, that skin cell is definitely compromised. But it is a big issue when it changes the DNA of a reproductive cell. If a retrovirus attacks a egg cell or sperm cell or gametes or any of those small cells that have to do with reproduction, then you have changed not only the DNA of that organism, but the DNA of that organism's offspring. Okay? We're kind of wrapping up here for today, but this fact here kind of blew my mind. So we talked about in class, how the scientists coded all of human DNA. Y'all remember that? Shake your head if you remember. Yep. So some of you, good. Okay. When they coded the DNA for all of mankind, they found that 5 to 8% of human DNA came from viruses. That's crazy, right? So technically, we're partly virus. That's kind of weird, but it's still true. How does this all relate to the coronavirus? So the coronavirus, because that's the one that is on all of our minds right now. The coronavirus, we're still learning about it. We don't know exactly how it works. We don't know exactly much at all about it. We do know this. The coronavirus was a virus that was found in bats, and they don't know if it jumped from bats to another animal and then humans, or directly from bats to humans. But do you remember earlier how I said how viruses can change? They evolve over time. They change their receptors. If you've seen a picture of the coronavirus, it's an artist rendering. It's not the real thing, but you've probably seen like a ball with these little things coming out of it, right? So yes, Riley. I don't know that he ate a raw bat, but it came from Wuhan market for sure. We do know that for sure. And so bat blood was involved. Very gross. Anyways, if you've seen that picture with the ball with the things sticking out of it, those things are those protein receptors I told you about. And so they can, as they evolve, they can change shape over time. Before this strand of coronavirus evolved, that coronavirus's receptor could not match up with human cells. But one day it changed, and it happened to come in contact with a human. Okay, so we need to be really careful. The great news is that a few ways we can fight against viruses. We can stay super clean. So washing your hands actually kills the virus. No, Kellen, but we didn't. Bat sushi is gross. Good job, Abram. If you wash your hands, okay, listen. Very important. When you wash your hands, it emulsifies. So happens that outer casing of a virus has kind of oily type properties, and so it takes the virus off of your hand. Okay, very important. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Okay, so count when you do it: front, back, in your fingers, in your fingernails, all that stuff. Also, if you don't come in contact with the virus, you can't get the virus. That's why this whole social distancing thing is a thing right now. Because if you don't go outside and you don't go around someone who has the virus, then you cannot get it. Because that's how viruses work, right? For it to come in contact with your cell, you have to come in contact with it. Also, we know with the coronavirus, it is expelled in droplets. Okay, so like if you cough, the droplets come out. If you sneeze, stuff like that. So if you stay about at least 6 feet away from people, then those droplets usually fall to the ground before they can make contact with you. Okay? So that's all I got today. We'll have if I only see it all. Yeah, okay. Yep. Any questions? Let me go to my little text section. You guys have any questions? Nope. Tyra, you can catch it through the air, but only if they expel that cough or that sneeze, right? So you can't, if you're sitting in the room with somebody, it can't just float through the air. Does that make sense? Okay, Brandon, great question. The AMI packets. I don't know right now exactly when or where you guys turn those in. Just hold on to them, and we'll go from there. Yes, Macy. So we're going to meet again tomorrow, and that might we'll meet again tomorrow, and we're going to meet again. We may not meet Thursday. We will definitely meet Friday. Okay. Yeah, with your AMI stuff, we don't have any instructions yet on that. So yeah, I don't have any answer for AMI right now. Just hold on to it. Michael Hurd, animals cannot give us that coronavirus, but it can give different animals have different viruses, and we can get different viruses from them. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Remember, I said there were a lot of different types of viruses. Macy, I don't know. They haven't gave us that answer yet. There's a chance that we will not come back this year, but nobody knows. We might. We just have to wait and see. All right, guys. It could. Yes, and it may not go away this summer. We don't know, Lane. Okay, go ahead and log out. Tyra, I need you to stick around for a second, please.
Have a good rest of your day, Coach Robert.
Yes, sir. You too, bud. Make sure you do your Nuzella, okay? It's very important.